Hi, so this is where I work with business owners to create strategies with target dates. I usually supply an ebook that focuses on the most important 3 things in 5 places over the digital landscape. Included in the ebook is a checklist that you can use when we're not in a consultation session. Now, as we work through the areas, we'll identify highest priority tasks that need to be part of the action plan. Now, in my digital due diligence, I look at the following areas: search engine, reviews, website, and all channels, including YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, previously known as Twitter, and then we're going to come up with some sales strategies with ClickFunnels as we go along. So when we look at search engine or SERP, search engine results pages, very important, valid SSL certificate and the configuration thereof, copy, keywords and descriptions, and complete and verifying your profile or various profiles for all platforms. That would be Google My Business, Google Analytics, etc. So I'll start off looking at how your business is listed on the search engine. Today, the florist of subject will be bunches for Africa. We can see that they're listed as number 5 on the ranking here among the other florists. So we create a ticket to improve ranking, and we just call it SERP, say improve ranking. And we'll take a look at this a little bit later on. We'll keep that task for now over here while we carry on further. I use various auditing tools, and I'm quite fond of this one. Specific to keywords, it'll give me a list of keywords and show me how the rankings have changed over the past number of days, depending on the selection. As you'll notice, you'll see the keywords, you'll see the Google rankings, the recent change, the traffic, monthly volume, ranking difficulty, tracking and linking, which is something that's a little bit more granular for a later stage. With this tool, I'm also able to look at competitors' keywords. So here we'd create a task and say audit, say connect, configure. We'll leave this task here for now until we're done and ready for collection. Now we're at the backlinking area, where we can see a list of backlinks that provide website authority, anchor text, target URLs, and dates that they've been seen. We notice the number of backlinks that Bunches for Africa has, and we have the referring domains and all of that. This is inside information that I usually do not share with anyone else except for whoever has a mandate or the client themselves. With this quick view done now, I will just grab the tasks, bring them down to my project area. This is when we're done going through all the areas, where we're going to look at the tasks that need to be handled. Just a quick pro tip, it's always a good idea to have all your copy, descriptions and titles in a spreadsheet. When we get to radio ads, ClickFunnels and things like that, and doing collaborations, it's good to use copy that has basically worked for us. We now move on to a key sales driver based on the old school methodology of word of mouth, and that is reviews. Forget all the tricks and hacks and rely on good old customer service, asking how they found the experience before they go public. This would be the smartest. In this area, it's wide to get a healthy relationship between the number of reviews, rating and frequency. What makes you stand out is your response to reviews, especially bad ones. So in the session, we talk about the quantity, rating, frequency, and the owner's response. We talk about a concierge service or an interceptor that's ethical, and we'll talk about some automation. As we can see here, Bunches for Africa is listed 6th on the list. Very interesting to see their rankings, how they differ. 73, 8, 44, 33. Bunches for Africa has a very impressive review quantity and frequency. A quick side note worth mentioning is look how many competitors are in this space. So this is basically what we'll see from Google as well. So I usually go into reviews and I select newest. And here we'll see 2 days ago, there was a 5-star review with a bit of a backstory. I selected only a few of them. Here we see there is a 3-star 4 months ago with a borderline pain and a bit of a compliment. We see that there has been a response from the owner. This response didn't 100% seem to match or satisfy complaint. I don't want to call it a complaint, but I'd say an otherwise not 5-star review. So if not, then what is there that we can do to improve this is the question. I can say for here, for reviews as a task is to resolve the underlying issue. And that can be solved in a couple of ways. One is we don't want hard and fast templates, but there are a few phrases that can be incorporated. That being said, their reviews look very healthy, and I wouldn't worry too much about this area. Maybe a concierge service I would bring in, so I would send a mailer, I would have a link, a yes or a no, asking the person if they were satisfied with their service. If yes, then I ask them to go to Google and do a review. If no, then I ask them if we can try and resolve it. And thereafter, we'll try again to get a review. We'll do this before they go public onto Google reviews. So now I'm just going to take the task down to our marshalling area. Now the next area that we'll cover is your website. There are a few fundamentals that need to be in place whereafter your SEO and optimization efforts will be rewarded with conversions. So number one, very importantly, to develop goal-oriented pages, then develop a monetization strategy, and naturally to have some audit tools on the digital landscape so you can measure metrics. If you scroll down and take a snapshot here, what I noticed is they have a video playing in the top banner. That's very good. It helps to get some good attraction, to get some traffic, and also to keep traffic for longer or visitors longer on your page. They have their story here, which is usually works out quite well. They have a call to action, send a bouquet, make someone's day. There they have a few images, very nice. Here they're punting on Papa's Bistro, something for matric farewell. Here they show categories of what is trending. They're showing the bunches over here, where it's got a name, which is pretty easy to identify and quite pleasant. And then with price ranges, they show you what the trading hours are. Instead of just putting it in a Google listing, they've got it here on the page, which is nice. They show you the types of arrangements, the prices, and they also give it an identifier, which is nice. These days, everything is about people and what we do together, how we stand together, how we work together as a team. And here you can see they're doing this very well. We've got everyone out there, have a nice photo. Everyone seems to be smiling and happy. And have a note on their reviews there, which is quite good. And then have some bouquets. They give you an idea of how they work. They give you a picture of who they are. They ask if you'd like to join their newsletter. Nice call to action. The only thing that I found here that is a bit of a pain point is the links. The Facebook link and the Instagram link was not going to Facebook or Instagram. So I created a ticket saying web page, Facebook target link configuration. I'll just copy this and then just call this Instagram. Now, I have noticed, because I went on further, that their other channels aren't listed here neither. So I would then say all other channels. These guys have done great work. They've got great content, and we're not getting enough of it earlier on. I'd like to see that come out. So this will give you a bit of an idea as to what the extent is of this auditing tool that I use. It gives me a snapshot of the website health, and that being comprised of mobile speed, domain authority with scoring, sitemap, keywords, backlinks, SSL, blacklists, and so forth. And as you can see here, mobile speed is stable. Domain authority is stable. Sitemap is detected. It's a good thing for that Google needs. Keywords has a good quantity there, and how many are new and added. Backlinks also. We see over here that if we connect their accounts, then it'll give us an idea of what the traffic is per channel. And there are various channels that we can add here: Google My Business, Facebook, Google Analytics, and more. This tool provides a keyword explorer, some core vitals, objectives for growing your website and optimizing, and alerts if there's anything urgent that needs to be taken care of. Here we notice it's grayed out, but if you were to be connected here, you'd see how many unique visitors there are, daily, weekly, or monthly, what the visit lengths are, the bounce rate, average visit length, page views per visitor, mobile visits, page search visits, and social visits. I'll take these tasks and put them down in the Marshall area. Right, so the next area that we go to is channels, and that's basically all the social media channels. So we're going to look at managing posts. We're going to look at the patterns that you have, themes, and amplification or scaling. First channel that we look at is YouTube. Very good channel to scale and to get your ideas out there. We notice over here that they have, I also use a tool to manage the analytics for YouTube, and we see here that the channel has had over 12,000 views. They have 8 videos, and here they are. We can see here of the videos that they have, the book radio Valentine's Day interview was 36 views 3 months ago. Valentine's edition, the bloopers, 4 months ago, 3 views. Valentine's Day, 1 view 4 months ago. Valentine's Day showdown, 9,600 views 4 months ago. Something happened with this one. Something was done pretty well, and that we'll have to go and analyze. I have already analyzed some of these videos, and over here there is something that they did there as part of their campaign that I think was a good sales booster. They gave away a pillow or something for Valentine's Day if you would confirm your order on the 13th of February already. So something like that I would put in a funnel and try again. Anyhow, we look at this one over here, 122 views, 29 views, 110 views, 2,100 views. Here's another one that did pretty well, and these need to be looked at. They all need to be looked at and recycled basically, and see what can be done. Now at this point of the analysis, I would usually speak to the business owner just to check some information and come up with some ideas, and also look at what images, what type of content they have. So I won't be doing any tasks right now, as they have the basics set up. It is now basically an optimization or a growth plan that is required. So we'll be moving on now, where we get to Facebook. And Facebook, we see that the details are all there. All looks very nice. 6,000 likes, 6,500 followers. I wonder and I hope that they have a mailing list, preferably email as well. We notice here their details are all in order. So one of the things that we're looking for is frequency of posts. Look how nice their posts look. It's well put together. There are always some finer things that can be done, but the foundation is there and it's done pretty well. There we see the last was May the 30th. They got some likes and some shares. May 27th, so 3 days before that, some likes. May 21st. So it looks like they post fairly regularly, and they put some effort into this, which is quite nice. And they look professional as well. I wouldn't put any tasks in here right now. I would once again talk to the business owner and just get some information back, some data, and then look at a growth strategy. So we can move on to the next channel. If we look at the Instagram channel, we'll see that it's also very well put together. There's a lot of content. They have quite a few followers. And once again, it'd be good to look at their mailing list and some of the posts that did well. What did they do? Where did it go? Where did they send it? And what can be done about those again. So there you can see is quite a lot. No tasks here for now. Everything seems to be set up from a gap perspective. So we'll look at targeted growth strategies with a client on this one. We went to LinkedIn and we didn't find a company page, so just created a task that profile has to be created and configured. We'll move this task down to the marshalling area. And here we go to TikTok, and we see that they do have a channel, well set up and all that stuff, very basic. And there are a few plugs that they got, and this one seems to have done quite well by the Online Home SA. If you go check them out, they've got a good channel, they've got some good content as well, so that's definitely something I'd look for from a collaboration perspective into the future. And then here you'll just see their views. That one got a nice 3,500. So these, I won't put any tasks on this right now. I would like to first have a conversation before doing anything. We see with Twitter as well, or X, no account was found. So nothing was done over there. And we'll just create a ticket where they would need to create a profile and configure. And now bring the ticket down to the marshalling area. So this is specifically an offering or a sales solution, leads generation, video sales letters. There are so many things that can be done. There's a CRM and all of that in ClickFunnels. It is not a channel per se. So any ideas that come out from the social media channels, posts that have been tested where you see it has performed well, you can put those things into a funnel. For example, this one we saw on YouTube, it was a book radio interview, and in the interview the owner expressed that on Valentine's, the day before Valentine's Day, on the 13th, if you can confirm your order and pay, then you will get a gift. I think it was a Valentine's Day heart pillow. That is something that you can run every Valentine's Day, and also now we think of special occasions, special days, public holidays, things like that, that they can run the funnel up to a week in advance. So Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, and I bet you they're doing this already, but by having funnels they could actually get a whole lot more sales in up to a week, even longer, before the day, which would help them with stock planning as well. I won't be setting any tasks right now. Once again, this would be a discussion with the owner where we'd strategize first. And there we have walked through, done a basic overview of the full digital landscape that we can see on the net. If there are any other channels, then we will have to add this and analyze that as well. But this is basically a very good idea of what their digital landscape's health looks like. We now move on to the planning and implementation or execution side. And here, very important to look at the goals or the targets. We look at increments of the definition of done. What is it that the owner or the sponsor requires? When do they want to do this, so that we can plan our work in those increments? We can set up whether we're going to be deploying work after a week of work, 2 weeks, or longer. Preferably 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a good number. Big corporates, enterprises, etc. use 2-week sprints. And then the way that we would put the tasks together, the format will be epics, and from epics we will have usually more than 1 or 2 stories, and from there we will have several subtasks where we provide estimation on each task. And that will give us a very good idea, an indication on how long certain work would take and in which sprint we would fit it in. So if we just do a quick over again, we'll see in SERP we identified these tasks. In reviews we identified these tasks to be done. They might be duplicated because I've done this actually before. Here on the website we have a few tasks that I did before. There you'll see I put in a chatbot or a chat service. This might just help them out as well. We would have to see if this is viable for them, if it would work for them or not. but there's a lot of automation that can be done. This will more be for a growth plan, but depending on the time that we have in the sprint, we might be able to fit that in. And then, as discussed earlier, we didn't do anything for the social media channels except for LinkedIn and for TikTok. No, TikTok did have, so that will come out. And I think it was X. Oh yes, it was X, also known as Twitter. So here are some snapshots of the plan that I provide. So I put it in an Excel spreadsheet, so it can be managed quite well. Down to the point, you'll see there's search engine, the story. So this is basically what the business owner or the actor or user is trying to accomplish. This is the label, and then we have the level reference, and these are the subtasks. The definition of done, for example, on check keywords would be when there's an acceptable list of keywords checked against strong competitor. And the estimation points is 0.5. We use the Fibonacci sequence, and that'll give us estimation hours, or for, in this case, for this task would be 1 hour to do that work. We do the same for all the tasks. You can see how the hours build up versus the points. And all this work, all these tasks that we analyzed, would basically take 13 hours to complete. If we move on to reviews, we have the same structure. And on these items over here, we have 4 hours of work. If we move on to the website, all these tasks that are listed here all quantify up to 38 hours. If we go on to channels, we have a number of 17. And if this were to be brought into a sprint, we are looking at about 72 hours. A very good rule of thumb and best practice in the corporate environment is to not accept work that is more than 100 points. So here we can see that 36 points versus 100 points is around a quarter or a third, and this is much easily achievable. Now, where I'm passionate is when we get to the board. I will bring all the tasks in here when we have the discussion before we start the sprint. We'll put all the tasks and list them according to priority. And what we'll do is when we kick off the sprint, we'll start with the to-dos. Once we've started working on the to-do tickets, just to give you an example, once we start working on the to-dos, people have started picking these tickets up and they start working on it, then they'll move it to doing. If a task is still to do and they haven't started with it yet, they'll leave it in to do. Once it's in doing, they will then take it from there and put it into testing or for review, where an upline will check it or a focus group will test it. Once that works, then they'll move it to the done column. If it is still not correct and some work needs to be done, it'll go back into doing until that is past another testing round or review round, then it'll go into done. And so as the work gets pulled in, it will follow this process. And as it follows this process and moves into done, we get closer to the end of the sprint, where we will then take these tasks, bring them into the retro, and we will have a retro session of a couple of hours, maybe a pizza and snacks and things like that, where we're going to talk about what we did well, what we did not so well, and how we can adapt and things that we can do differently. This will inform us on what to do in the next sprint, and every time we will basically improve our process. Now, we must never lose sight of the big picture. And the big picture is a system that I use, or a format called the Evidence-Based Management Guide. And this basically gives us a snapshot of the measures and over time. And here we can see, I put this together in sprints. So if we look at 60 points being done in a sprint, so when we looked at the plan here earlier, it was around 30 points. We're saying 60 because we're doubling it for things that are unforeseen. And that is things that affect the sprint during the working hours of the business. So if we were to overestimate and double that amount and make it 60 points, we can see that in 14 days, one sprint, we complete that, then we can take on another 60 points in the second sprint. So yeah, this gives you a very good idea that you could complete all that work that we saw now that's planned for in one sprint. Then the question is, what is next? And that's where we look at the growth plan and where we want to go. I like taking clients to Hot FM, putting a radio ad on, and basically leveraging from that. So the previous sprints or the sprints leading up to that, we will make sure that we get the foundational stuff right, get all the gaps right. From there, we will look at our content and what we're going to put on radio ads, and not only radio ads, but all social media channels too. And we'll basically do this up until whatever the long-term strategy is for the business. It can also be a strategy for a year. It can be a 2-year strategy, a 5-year. All that needs to be done is this has to be discussed, planned, estimated, and basically jotted or plotted on the list. Thank you. And this is my system of how I do a due diligence or a analysis on the whole digital landscape of an SME.